is everybody tonight? Hopefully you are doing good. With me, of course, is the one, the only, the magnificent Metal. And how is Metal doing tonight?
I'm rolling.
Okay. Are you shiny? Being that you're Metal.
No.
Dull finish today? Sharing this out to the places that I do. And then I will get to drawing. I will actually get to drawing tonight. We got chat already up, although I don't think anybody's said anything as of yet. Okay, there we go. Everything's.
Don't forget to thank John.
Yeah. Always. Pardon?
Did I take it? Christmas gift finally came in?
Yeah. Now what?
Yeah. Who is it from the Brunswick? Yeah. He comes on, ask him about the PS5.
Yeah.
That wasn't my request.
Yeah. Everybody gotta disturb me.
That should have been taken care of before it was time to go live.
Yeah. The thing is, I already knew this stuff, but, they gotta come in when, like, I'm 2 minutes on and, rewind me. Not that I'm doing a lot at the moment, but, except for, sharing out and all that. But it's the way it is, I guess, sometimes. So, I don't think I've been doing too bad at creating my other Final Fantasy characters, although I've only got one almost complete. I might have to get you to take a look at it at some point just to be 100% sure.
Well, I mean, you don't really have to worry too much about it. That's just an emergency in case, there's a turtle party kill.
Yeah. Which hopefully that doesn't happen. But, I just want to do it to do it. And also, gives me practice creating a character, getting to know the system. So, yeah. And the one, of course, I got almost all the way done is Snowdrift. Now, the one that I think I'm going to have the hardest time with creating a version of is Insecto, because I don't think there's anything for insects or whatever.
No, there's probably not. Being the fact that, Final Fantasy is a heavily medieval D&D inspired world.
Yeah.
With some tech, some level of tech. There are engineers. There's airships.
Yeah, I think. All my other major characters, I believe I'll be able to create. Because I've just been going over all the jobs and all that. I'm like, okay, how can I fit him in here? I actually, although he's a lot taller and, across comics, I made him a Moogle. I just thought, it'd be neat making him small. Hey, Timothy! Small like an insect or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm making some other Final Fantasy characters up. Well, a little bit for if there's happens to be a total party kill, but not so much. Just to see whether I could make up versions of my major characters, my major heroes, and think, what if he is greedy? What if he is greedy? He is a money Moogle. Yeah, well, I don't think that would fit.
Like a money mogul Moogle.
Actually, my character, when I do my Wiz character, he's going to have the bazillionaire one with, the top one. I'm going to use like 5 or 6 advantage points, so, he gets like 25% more or whatever gold than everybody else.
Yeah, Tim's character has that.
Yeah, except Timothy hasn't been in a few fights lately to get all the gold that we've been getting. Although he should be there this Saturday, so if we go through all those mobs, he'll be racking in the cash.
Yeah. More importantly, he needs that experience.
Yeah, that too. He could possibly go up 3 levels. 2, I think, for sure. That is my boss's fault. Yeah. And we fought a mini boss this week, or a boss, or mini. Was it a boss or a mini boss?
Oh, it was a boss monster. I think I'm gonna start putting in some handouts for every character. Regardless, like even the monsters. I could probably be doing that right now. Just because that might give you guys access to monsters you've previously scanned.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm doing anything else at the moment.
Then again, you could maybe give it to the ones that have scanned it.
Oh yeah, that's what I was specifically going to do. I wasn't going to give it to everybody.
Oh, okay.
So basically, Flit is the one who would get them. Except, actually, you guys don't even have the Cougar, or you wouldn't have the boss that you just fought. Because both of those were scanned by... Oh, no, you would. I forgot. Flit did scan the boss, the second scan, when he wanted to see how much health it had left.
Yeah.
But the other 2 scans, Rem Coco did that.
But he could easily scan.
Well, if he missed the boss, he wouldn't have been able to easily scan him. But luckily, he did scan the boss once.
Well, I mean, scan. If we go into battle against those other creatures, he can scan them right away.
I'm trying to figure out how to set something as an NPC. Because for the next things that I set up, I had to set one of the next bosses later down the road as a character. Because I couldn't figure out how to set it as an NPC. And I was getting tired and I just wanted to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what that's like. So I take it the boss character this week, did you actually draw that up, or did you just grab it?
Oh, that is an image directly from Final Fantasy XII. In fact, that and the cockatrices were directly from Final Fantasy XII as well.
Wow.
The Cougars, though, looking at them, I think those are from Final Fantasy X, I want to say.
Yeah, Timothy, the cockatrices, or however you say that, fighting them, there's a mob of 6 of them, and they gave us 1,917 gold apiece, but that was for 3 of us. That might be a little bit less. Okay, maybe a lot less. Well, maybe not. Because if we have all 6 party members there, still, I think we'd probably end up at least 500 gold for each mobs. And there's at least 4 of those mobs. And of course, Metal's not going to say anything.
Of course not.
Let me see. Let me do my math. Well, it was close. Oh wow, I'll just steal from you, Rick. You can try again, but I think my awareness would that go against my awareness?
I
If you
have to
try
think about that. Because pickpocketing I don't know if it'd go against your awareness or against your pickpocketing skill. Like, you might have to default on that.
I know
I'd really have to think about it.
I know you did. He did it once before, but I forget what you. Not me pickpocketing, but him pickpocketing me. Because, yeah, my awareness is now up to 60. Or would heightened senses have any play in that? Well, I get probably not. It's not the way it works.
I have to think about that, because heightened senses means you can't be caught unaware. See, I'm trying to figure out, because I did it before by accident. I made an NPC when I was in town. And I need to figure this out, because I don't want to make a character for every single monster. Because then the name for that starts to show up in the list of things I can assign for the tokens, which makes it harder for me to find your characters when I have to assign them as tokens.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it doesn't let me automatically assign your characters tokens, even though any other token I drop onto the map after we've started automatically assigns it that character. I don't know why your tokens are exceptions to that for some reason. It might be because I made them before I set that setting, but that setting should have applied to everything.
Yeah. Well, as much as you hate it, well, I wouldn't say do it all. Just maybe redo one with the setting. Remake one under the settings and see whether it does it. It's just a suggestion, obviously.
No, because dude, yeah, I've already filled out the sheet. If I delete the character and remake it, that means I have to fill out the sheet all over again.
Or maybe make a new one?
A duplicate. I would still have to fill out the sheet. It takes such a long time to do that.
Yeah, well, if it's going to help with...
Like, I'd have two copies of the character.
Yeah, but I'm just saying...
And then I would be transferring the information from one sheet to another.
Yeah, but I'm just saying do it for one to see whether it works that way, or whether you can with that. Because
No, I understand that, but if it does work, to be able to get it to work, I would still have to transfer all that information.
Yeah. Hey, Rosetta.
And then I'd have to do it for each one after that. Like, I get what you're saying, but the only thing that stops me from having to do all that extra work is if it doesn't work.
Yeah. Rick makes foolish choices. Let's see. Rosetta's here. Hey, Rosetta. She said, I thought this was an intelligent channel, but I see you gave Tim a wrench. Tim says, I won't abuse the system, Rosetta. Yeah. You know why he won't abuse it, Rosetta? Because he knows it'll get taken away if he does. Rick makes foolish choices. Hey, Willie. He's just giving you crap, says Rosetta. That's why I have a rinses thing. The bullet is just a fool. It says to me. Your mama doesn't think so, says Bullet. You give me crap. I didn't do it. I didn't get you anything. But, it's, as you said, it's not working at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to make it work. I know you can add something as an NPC. I accidentally did it once.
Okay, Timothy, you cannot time him out, but you can remove his comment. I think you can do that. That comment. What's Metal talking about? He's talking about the mechanics of the Roll20 for the Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Specifically, just like how the system itself works. There's a way, and even the weird custom sheet we're using, I saw it by accident. There's an NPC version of the sheet, which can be used for like monsters and townsfolk, so you don't have to give them a full player sheet or anything like that. And I accidentally did it once when they were in town. I don't know how to get there again. The system didn't make it obvious, especially because we're using custom sheets. So I'm trying to figure out how to do it. There's a setting that says is NPC that I think you can check, but it wasn't letting me do that to something that doesn't already have a stat sheet.
So do you have to maybe make a stat sheet for the monsters or whatever that
I think so. Okay.
Would you be able to just copy and paste
there's
it?
no way of cheating this system. I just turned Rumcoco into an NPC, even though she's supposed to have a whole character sheet. For me to make her an NPC or whatever, which I'm taking off. She's not supposed to be an NPC. Even though she is, I'm controlling her. I actually have to make a blank stat sheet first for the character, give them a name and everything. Yeah. And then it lets me do the NPC sheet. So their names are still going to have to come up in the list anyway. I'm just going to have a long list of every monster type that you guys can fight. And then when I have to assign, you have to scroll to the section where your name would be. No way around it.
Is there any way to create some sort of folder in that system?
Yeah, well, there's folders for the stat sheets and everything. I've got that. It's the drop-down.
Yeah, in the drop-down, is there any way to maybe create some folder?
It's literally just a singular drop-down. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just figured I'd ask her, That way, you could maybe sort them if you would. Well. You know, certain ones go in this one, you know, others go in another one. Well, I'm not as low to take pot shots. Well, I'm not as low to take pot shots at people's families. Timothy. You just got to make it.
It's gonna take a while.
And you can you make it? So, your guess will make it so we can't access them. Those sheets.
Oh, only be in your journal if I say they're in your journal. So like I manually add them to people's journals. So like your regular party, everyone in your party's in your journal.
No.
But like Rumcoco's not in any of your journals.
Oh, okay. Well, well, we won't have to look through the whole list, but you will, unfortunately. Rosetta says.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. Well, you guys also don't have to go through the drop down to assign a value to a token. So what I'm saying is, every time I drop your guys' tokens onto the map,
yeah,
I have to click edit on the token, and then there's a drop down list for the name of the token.
Okay.
In which I can assign a character to it. Other things, after we changed the settings and added a bunch of stuff, when I drop them down and there's already a token assigned to that character to the token. For some reason, with your guys' characters, every time I drop them down, I have to manually assign the token to it.
Rosetta says, I gotta say, Bullet is pretty weak with his insulting skills. Timothy's, yeah, sounds like insult some pussy would make in the crowd. Bullet says, I'm trying to goad without going in too hard, laugh out loud. And Timothy's, it says, oh, I see, Bullet, very clever. I'm respecting Rick's channel. Unlike Timothy. Hello, Eagle. Eagle says, Metal, tell us about Shadowrun.
I don't know that much about Shadowrun. What little I know about it, you and I talked about with Rick at the end of the show last time, or with Marsupial. I think, Rick, you actually already left.
Bullet says, I would go hard, but then Rick would get upset. Well, as long as you probably weren't using foul language, I might be alright, I'm not sure. Well, it's not up to snuff. Being hard can be real waste of blood.
This does make it easier for me, though. Because, like, for the next boss that I said I already filled out, I had to fill it out like a regular character sheet. If I do this, and then I click on the thing and put the attribute is NPC, it literally looks like a monster sheet, like I've been filling out for these guys in my notes anyway. So that'll speed up the process.
Oh, that's good.
Just doesn't make searching through that list any easier.
You can't hide him. You can just delete his message, Timothy. And actually, that one you never asked for, so. I'm going to say, since I never said one way or another, you didn't no hiding them either, Timothy. Since I didn't say anything about not hiding them, I'm going to let you off.
Take his wrench away. He's clearly going to abuse it. Just take it away.
Blizzard's take that wrench. And so just like that, you gotta ask for that, and you gotta give the wrench to the wench. And I'm trying to think whether I'm going to say you have to ask every time or not for deleting a comment. Unless it's, yeah, the fun and games one, Timothy, you have to ask for, but, you know, if somebody comes into the chat that spouting off real crap, to say it nicely, you can just delete those. Well, then again, people come in like that, spouting off real crap. Those people can just be timed out right away. Or wait for me to give them one warning. Eagle says, Rick, Timothy has been here long enough to know all the wrench rules. Well, technically, I've never addressed hiding somebody or deleting a message. I've only ever addressed timing somebody out. Recipient says, "Hiya! Take Timothy's wrench. One more down, 2 to go." Damn it, Rick says first. No, 10 seconds. I have the rules, but they don't. When did I address hiding and deleting messages? That seemed like an unwrenchable violation. Three times I mentioned my birthday. This channel has lost support for not acknowledging the birthday queen. Well, did it? Oh, I didn't notice that. So I noticed in the one thing. So happy birthday, Rosetta. With all the stuff going by, I didn't notice it. Hey, Timothy, watch the language.
Happy birthday for me too. And thank her and John.
What? What do you mean? Rosetta's not. You're thinking of somebody else.
Oh.
No, you're confusing names that are similar.
Yeah. Wrench is greater, Tim. Marsupial said also metal seems. Boo says damn it, Lim. Marsupial said also metal seems like he should be on the ice. You should probably take his wrench too, as a proactive precaution.
I don't know. If anything, you should probably take Marsupial's wrench for trying to manipulate you.
Yeah. And manipulate Timothy. And I don't think Bullet has a wrench, so. You're forgiven, Timothy. Just let's not do it again. And I noticed you did it twice, too, so even more so. Yeah, it feels like I'm helping him. Does a puff of steam out the nose. I don't need one to Bullet. Oh, Marsupial, how can you help? You don't even know about Parasite Eve. That's my face.
That's what I've always used that emote for, but that emote's called Triumph, so I think it's supposed to be like you breathing out steam in pride, like I got this done, just like that big flare. But it looks more like you're angry or perturbed.
Yeah, I would agree. So it's yeah, the Marsupial is retarded and queer. Marsupial says Parasite Eve sounds degenerate and perverted. Eagle says, Rick, I'm just going to come out and say it. When I had a wrench, there was no language said or whatever. And Timothy's like, sorry, Bullet, lost my cool, man.
Ah, okay. I figured it out, Rick. I don't even have to set that it is an NPC. So this sheet is kind of cheeky. at the very top, it says player sheet, an NPC. They let you know what sheet it is. It doesn't look like a button, but if I click on it as the GM, it actually changes the sheet type.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
So I'm jumping through all these hoops to make this work, and I could just easily click on a single box.
Yeah, there was
Now I know, and that'll save a lot of time. It's a good thing I figured it out now instead of later.
Yeah, there was no language because everybody was always being timed out, said the marsupial. Eagle is perturbed and praying, and star-eyed for metal. And Bullet says, you need to realize no one here is being serious. Get used to people giving you a hard time. Apology accepted. And Timothy says, yeah.
So I think I'm just going to start out with the boss that you guys have just fought. So that would be in whose journal? Flit's journal. After that, I'm going to go add all the enemies in the area you were just in.
Just me and Metal Sketchbook. Let's see. Marsupial says, my mom gave me CBD oil for Christmas. My mom is giving me drugs. Is peak 2020. See, then it's funny. Eagle says, Timothy, whatever Bullet. I don't know what half these emoticons or whatever you want to call them, emoticons, emojis, mean.
Which ones are you having confusion on?
Oh, I guess Timothy's. Well, one's a devil, obviously, and I'm not.
Well, that's Eagle. He just has Timothy's name there. But one is cursing. That's bleeped out his face. The other one is the hands together, and the other is the devil. So I'm guessing he's saying that cursing makes you a friend of the devil.
Oh, that's the hands are friends. So I guess.
Well, they're just like touching together, right? Like a high five.
Okay, I thought it was praying hands.
It could be praying hands. Let me look at this. To me, it looks like a high five, but I could totally be wrong.
Bullet peak 2020 is becoming so commonplace that people eat THC gummies, literally handing them out with candy. Sometimes I wonder
it does say
why.
pray. I think people use it for a high five, though.
Eagle says, sometimes I wonder why I type messages just to get to turn them weird. Marsupial says, I believe Eagle is suggesting that Timothy and Bullet are not good homosexual relationship. Oh yeah, the devil is my neighbor. Laugh out loud, says Timothy. Timothy is the bottom. I'm the man in all religions. And Timothy laughs. Uh, female. Sketchbook. This is a lady. I'm not sure how well you can see it with it being pencil. I do have a chest there. Rick has yet to discover the wonders of the hourglass figure. Well, putting it in certain positions is my problem. The hourglass figure and is this a new superhero man woman? No.
Well, first, Rick, you start with drawing a lot of circles.
Hey, Flit. He says, oh, okay. Good, then my eyes still work. I thought you were drawing by from Bluetooth. Abby, he says. And of course, I haven't drawn the head in yet, so that probably doesn't help much either. I thought he was doing Braveheart fan art. But then again, maybe I do have the shoulders a little too broad. No, the hips and waist scream female, but the barrel chest made me think male. The barrel chest?
Yeah, that chest is somewhat barreled. I think it's because of how broad their shoulders are, too. That doesn't help.
I think that's my biggest problem with it. Tend to make my women too broad shouldered. Oh man, woman superhero powers. Being able to watch sports and the Lifetime channel at the same time. Maybe that's the anime tomboy final form. Maybe I need to rethink my fantasy. Yeah, thanks, Metal. It's not just me.
Trying to think what else I need to add to your journal. Flit scanned the first boss you guys fought, right? When you fought Geen, he used a bestiary on her.
I think so.
Oh yeah, then we'll have to add that one in too soon, just so it's in his journal. Since I'm going to give him in his journal every character he scanned.
Yeah, Flit, you're starting to get a journal of characters you scan so you can know everything about them.
Yeah, he's basically going to get a bestiary of his own. Like a full-length one.
But that's fine. The head will end up as long as she doesn't develop a man jaw. That will hurt my eyes to sketch.
There's no toggle for bad scan on here, though, so if an enemy has bad scan, I'm just going to have to keep the actual stats in my notes and then put the bad ones in here. Because there is a button where I can click and it just gives you scan results when you scan a monster. This way I don't have to remember everything you're supposed to know.
She can't help her imperfection. She gets judged from. I was out of the room. What were you saying about me? Oh, that you're getting metal is everything that you've scanned so far, or that he was around when it was scanned by somebody else. He's getting
No, only the things that he scanned.
Okay.
If somebody else uses a bestiary and scans something, it'll go in their journal. But because he's the one with the scan ability, odds are Foot's going to be the one scanning everything in your party. So the NPC stat sheet for those monsters that he scanned will go into his journal. So the only reason he'll need to rescan a monster is if he needs to know how much its current health is.
Yeah, and that's usually just
You can still take all the notes you want, but this just lets you, like, if you've scanned a monster before, you can click it open and see what that monster does. If anything, it might help you plan.
You can't stop me from taking notes though. Hey Rick, tell your cousin to find me on Twitter. Cassie Colum, shared pro artist used to practice coloring up. He hasn't even followed me on Twitter yet. I've just connected with him at the moment through Discord. Flip says, "Plan? Have you met our group?"
Yeah, I've met your group, but again, you're the one with this information and actually seems to plan, so this is mostly me talking specifically to you.
Hey, sometimes I would like to plan, but there's a certain...
You would. I know your plan, Rick. It's hop on the bird and go and grab all the treasure chests.
Hey, I'm willing to give things away. I have given stuff away that I've gotten in the chest, so... Heck, I got a knife that I could get a few pennies for, but I think it might be good for Timothy.
You know what the sad part is? The fact that you guys rushed to get all those chests are probably what actually made you do so bad against that boss. Because if you just kind of picked them up on your way, you would have fought more monsters.
Yeah, I think everybody was a bit scared of going against all the monsters. Rick is a loot ninja medal. Hey, but I did a pretty good way of navigating. You gotta admit.
Well, what's funny is Marsupial and I were actually making fun of this after the fact because he came in too late to make a decision. You guys are already basically at the boss by the time he was able to come in. Which is his own fault, so he honestly can't complain about it. But usually, if the enemies are tough, that means the boss is even tougher. And you should probably kill those tough enemies to grind up experience to beat the boss.
I wouldn't say it's a helmet because her hair's loose. It's some sort of weird-looking visor. Sketch.
Yes, Rick is a loot ninja, I would say. Especially because after every single encounter, he's always asking, are there any additional drops?
I've only done that like twice. When we faced...
I've done that like 4 times.
I didn't ask after the ringworm, or whatever it was that we just faced. I never asked after the
only reason you didn't ask after the ringworm is because I said that it, like, dissipated from existence.
Yeah. I know I asked after the, whatchamacallit thing. Timothy's done that more than me. Asked. Or John. I just asked after when we rescued the kid.
I think you know more that was asking if you could steal the armor from the boss's dead body back when you finished the first dungeon.
Yeah, I did that. I'll admit that. Hey, better armor, better to protect my fellow adventurers with.
I think it was more super where somebody was like, oh, Rick, that armor looks pretty cursed.
My character is one-hit quitter with no support from the team. He has reasons to be cautious. I wanted those rings. What rings? When, Rick? When what? Is stealing not part of his character medal? Hey, if somebody's dead, they ain't going to be using it.
Yeah, I don't know. That does still kind of seem like it's against Rick's character. Stealing from a corpse. Having a higher calling. I don't think grave robbing is necessarily a thing your character would be doing.
Yeah, but it wasn't in the grave. It was just dead. It's like picking apart a dead bird to cook it.
Like, you know, this guy just had a heart attack in front of me. Let me loot his pockets to see if he's got like a nice watch or something.
Let's see. Stealing is stealing, Rick. Stealing is when somebody owns something. So a dead person can't own something.
That's a good question. Is he mostly dead or is he all dead?
Well, we thought he was dead, but apparently he wasn't dead.
Because if he's mostly dead, there's still hope. But if he's all dead, there's only one thing you can do. Go through his pocket and look for loose change.
The God rings around the shield worm, says Flit. Dillard is a saint, Rick. How dare you speak ill of him, said Bullet. Sketchbook says, damn it, your camera is making my bad eyesight worse. My optician bill is in the DM. This bus of people just got toasted. Let me wait around for the fire to go out so I can loot the corpse. Did you see my question about dice metal? That's Mercer.
No, I don't think I saw his question about dice. Well, I'm off screen. I'm only looking every so often. Rick is the one reading it. Where was the question about the dice? Here we go. Hey, I got some new dice is there a way I can use them in the game instead of the Roll20 roller? That must be what he meant when he saw the camera, because I saw a thing about maybe I could put them on camera in the Hangout. I mean, you can. It's just one more screen I have to jump between. I think you and I talked about this before, Rick, didn't we?
Yeah.
Even when we just wanted to use like an alternative dice roller. And using those dice also means that we don't get those neat little formulas and stuff like that too that the game has. Like, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer about it. You can't. It's going to slow things down.
He just wants to use his new dice.
I don't blame him. I have dice sitting right next to me. It's nice to have. They're cool.
Heck, even I thought about getting a set of dice because of it. Anyways, he says, "Oh, never mind then."
Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to streamline the actual mechanics of this as much as possible. We spend less time rolling die and doing the math and stuff. Which, you know, I like the math, but trying to speed it up. That's the more time people can spend actually role-playing. Which is kind of the point to a role-playing game.
Yeah, so we can, go and do things and all that.
Like, I'm glad that Dillard actually asked questions of the NPC that I gave you guys before deciding to fight the boss in the first place. Because that's part of role-playing. Like, there's this huge town you can interact with. Most of the time, Dillard's the only one who's even trying to interact with other NPCs and stuff. He's had some quirky little encounters. And, I give you a guide and all kinds of stuff, and you guys, which it is based off a video game, are playing it more like a video game. Flit's done some role-playing as well. That's been pretty good.
I've tried to do a little, like, the language sometimes that I have my character using to, introduce or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, all of you occasionally participate in it, but I would say between your group, Flit and Dillard are the ones that opt into role-playing more than not.
Yeah. Observation. Is he is good at that? Timothy says, I interact by trying to steal stuff. Eagle says, Shadowrun! And then Bullet says, Hoy, chummer!
Yeah, like, I actually really like the fact that Dillard keeps trying to, threaten people into giving him more stuff, because I'm just waiting until he pushes it a little too far and has to have, the guards going down his neck. Like, that wouldn't be a bad thing for me. I would enjoy it. He'd be playing his character. He'd be punished for it as well. The world would have real consequences to it.
The only problem with that is if my character's close by, I think he'd have to get involved.
Well, okay. Well, you have to play to your character. That's the thing. I want people to roleplay. It's a role-playing game.
Either that, he'd be divided. Do I fight the authorities? Dillard did threaten the man, or does he have to, or is it that he, is
I had a
loyal
campaign
to
once
his
where the party actually met each other in a bar fight that was started between two of the people in the party.
Marsupial. Oh, you'll have to. Timothy says you'll have to forgive me. It's been a long day. Marsupial says, I saw a Shadowrun 5th edition rulebook at the comic shop. I went to buy it. Should I go buy? I think he meant I want to buy it today. Should I go back tomorrow and buy it? Eagle says, Metal, we need a Shadowrun campaign or I'll be forced to play the games again. And Timothy says,
We could eventually run a Shadowrun thing, maybe.
Timothy says, I'll wait for Dillard to drop stuff, then steal it. Bullet says, the guard's going down his neck. Flit says, I think part of it may be that people are a little embarrassed about the role-playing aspect because they're new. People may loosen up as they get into it. Ask Raggedy or Bullet, Marsupial. Flit says, alcohol helps. Eagle says,
I agree. I think alcohol does help, and that people who aren't used to role-playing should totally take a little swig. Not a lot, just get a light buzz.
I don't know which edition is best, says Eagle. Sure it does, says Timothy. Bullet says whiskey or bourbon. Timothy says, you got some?
Well, being that bourbon is just the American brand of the same type of drink that whiskey is, I'm gonna have to say bourbon because America.
Bullet says yes.
Oh, yeah, drink some rye alcohol. Though I think when you mean America by that definition, it means North America, because Canada has their own bourbon too, right?
Yeah.
Because to be whiskey, it has to be from Ireland, by the traditional definition of the word. That's where Scotch comes from, because it was the same thing, but from Scotland.
Well, whiskey is also aged longer, says Bullet. Canada does not count, says Timothy. What about Mexico? What's it like to be so wrong, Metal? Bourbon is trash, and also it's from Kentucky.
Well, I remember I did a lot of research into this one day because I was reading about the argument between like Kentucky bourbon and Tennessee whiskey, because I was trying to figure out what exactly Tennessee whiskey was. Looking into the history of these words, and they've apparently changed a lot since the early Americas.
Flit says, saying bourbon is just American whiskey is like saying champagne is just French fizzy wine. Shameful. Bullet says, exactly, Flit. Marsupial says, bourbon is Kentucky whiskey. It's only from Kentucky. It's only from Kentucky. It's not from Kentucky. It's whiskey. Oh, if it's not from Kentucky, it's not whiskey.
And basically, at the end of everything, the conclusion I came to is that most of these people are just up their own butts. It's like, we're from this place, so this version is better.
Well, it says it has a lot to do with the barrels they are stored in, etc.
Yeah, I read that there are minor differences in the process. Chemically, most of them are functionally all the same thing. With, minor process differences giving slightly different flavors to it. You use like mahogany wood, if you store it in certain type of barrels, the size of the barrels, how long you let it, ferment. But you could say that for almost any type of alcohol as well. Barbecuing on different wood and stuff like that.
Champagne is French fizzy wine. Bourbon is from Kentucky, so therefore it's worse. Well, it's like Texas versus Kentucky on barbecue. But it says a lot of Japanese whiskey is blended. Flit does a raised eyebrow. No, Eagle does the raised eyebrow. And Flit does not a sad face. I know. Kansas City, Rick. What about Kansas City?
That's what KC, I think, stands for.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I said Kentucky for some reason. Probably. Yeah, but the details are what make the difference between Rick drawing a girl and Jeff Scott Campbell drawing a girl. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, that's true.
Tennessee barbecue is better, says Marsupial.
See, when I was a lot younger, I used to fall into those traps too. Especially growing up in Texas, everyone's like, well, Texas barbecue is the best if you're from Texas. And the problem is, it's such a blanket statement because there are a lot of people in Texas that make great barbecue. There's a lot of, and I'm talking about professional, not just families. There's a lot of people that make horrible barbecue, and I've traveled a lot, and you get really great and really bad barbecue almost anywhere you go.
Yeah, it's...
And, it's not a trap, it's a fact. It's a trap. Actually, Alton Brown, who is probably one of the best people you could go to when it comes to, like, facts about cooking, even said this himself. Trap where people will say that if something originated from that place, that's the best place that you can get it from. But a lot of people get lazy because they write off of the name recognition or the origin recognition of the place, like getting pizza from Brooklyn. And because of the people who have moved into Brooklyn and culture changes, the best Brooklyn-style pizza is no longer in Brooklyn. And he was even asked, it's like, the best Cuban sandwich he ever got was in, like, North Carolina, even though you'd expect it would be in, like, Florida. And Alton Brown's traveled a lot and has tried a lot of different food from a lot of different places, probably more than any single human being other than possibly Guy Fieri.
Bullet says Korean barbecue for life. It's a Timothy says it's a pride thing. I think metal. Yeah.
It's definitely a pride thing. Yeah.
Marsupio says pizza was invented in the U.S., but the best pizza I ever had was in Actually, the pizza we know as with pepperoni and all the crap that we put on pizza is USA, but the base of it, where we got everything from, was Italy, I believe. Like the bread and the sauce and maybe the cheese.
Well, if you're looking for the origins, it's Naples.
Naples?
Naples. Napoli.
Naples, Italy, you mean?
I believe it's part of Italy now, yes. Naples has always kind of been its own place, but I do believe the country it's in is Italy.
Yeah. Or Philly cheesesteak.
But if you really want to trace it back, it goes all the way back to Egypt. And that's because flatbread with toppings goes all the way back to the Ptolemy Empire of Egypt. But you don't actually get tomatoes added in until the New World is discovered and has to be brought back, because tomatoes are a product of the Western Hemisphere.
Sketchbook says, dude, more than one major food taster and writers from barbecue competitions all agree the best barbecue in the world was Snow's in Texas. World-renowned chefs all did the taste test.
No, Marsupial, I wasn't saying that the flatbread with toppings was pizza. I'm saying that's where the origin dates back to. It's not actually pizza until it hits Naples and until tomatoes are brought back. It wasn't like it was some grand new invention. The tomatoes are what really made the difference. But it is a type of food that they have been eating for millennia. Almost.
Yeah, because you have the pita bread from, well, I know it's not Egypt, but from like Greece and the Middle East.
And it wasn't even like you see this too with the artisan pizza. Originally, pizza wasn't a marinara sauce. That's something that you see more common now. That's something that's mostly the older Brooklyn style. It's more of the margherita sauce is what you see, or margarita, depending on which part of Italy, north or south. They say it differently depending.
But as for what people are saying about the barbecue, any of this stuff is really, I would say, subjective. What's the best, because everybody has what they like best. So if somebody tastes what somebody says the best pizza is in the world and they don't like it, for whatever reason, to them it's not the best.
Well, because the sauce that's in pizza, the margherita, is named after a queen of Italy.
Let's see what Sketchbook says. Tomatoes are from this side of the world. Pizza was actually made by a hungry Italian chef in New York that shoved ingredients together to cure a hangover and then sprang up in Naples later, says Sketchbook. Bullet says pizza that tastes too tomato can and should be thrown in the trash. Marsupial says hangovers are how all the best inventions happen. Flit says marinara is an abomination like white chocolate. I would have to disagree with that, Flit. I like white chocolate a lot. Although I don't think there's any cocoa, any real chocolate in white chocolate. But I could be wrong. Watch out, a mob hit was put out a new metal. The light bulb was invented to annoy people with it.
Well, the problem too is it depends on what you define as pizza, right? What we know as pizza now, right? The New York style stuff was invented in like 1905. That's like the earliest document of it. But the word pizza and the type of thing that they've been eating goes back to like, I think the early 1800s in Naples. It just hadn't spread anywhere until like 1940 outside of Naples.
Rick likes white chocolate the way I like some brown sugar. That's his bullet. Marsupial says, and sunglasses were invented to stimulate the light bulb enthusiasts.
Yeah. Now, the Naples brand of what is pizza, though, before, like, New York had its influence, most people probably want to eat it. It was basically designed as cheap food that these, like, poverty-stricken people could eat, having, like, basically nothing.
Yeah. Italians don't like what you are saying about pizza, says Timothy. Flit says, can't get a hangover if you never stop drinking. Roll safe RPG. That's probably an image that he put thing to. Sketchbook says, yes, taste is subjective, Rick, but that title was given by her peers. Pro cooks don't just go based on what they like the taste of. They know the science behind the barbecue. You can't like what you want. I would still say, even with some sort of science behind this stuff, it would still come down to saying what's the best. Would come down to individuals, in my opinion. Because I don't think you're gonna see, convince anybody. You let them taste it, obviously, and maybe you'll convince them, maybe you're not. It's hard to say whether you could change somebody's mind into thinking what's the best. Even with tasting. Just look at Rakino's food. I like.
Yeah, I'd probably give you a look too if you got your steak well done.
Like me, I prefer my steak well done, and I get looks when I order it like that. Yeah, I like my steak well done too. Steak, sorry, bad spelling. Yeah, we got it. Yeah. Hey, we knew what was at stake when you were making the comment. Savagery, says Flint.
I like my steak blue rare, but most cooks won't do that for you because of health precautions. So the best you can get is rare.
You sure then won't get sick from undead cow like others. Laugh out loud. No mount cow disease for me. Yay. Okay, so maybe I will. Uh, do some coloring in Canadian Shield. Number 2, page 4. I'll do something with
Let's get a question for you.
Rick, would you eat a 3D printed vegetarian steak? Well, I don't know exactly what a vegetarian steak is, so that has to be the first question answered or asked.
If he's talking about the one that was in the news recently, I personally would not say that it counts as vegetarian because I think I heard it still has cow cells in it. The one that was made in the lab. But you know what? I'm not a vegetarian because I think they're stupid. If they're willing to think it's vegetarian, well, good. They can eat some actual meat.
Yeah. Now, would I be willing to try a 3D printed, even regular steak? I'd be willing to try it. I don't know what I'm going to do with. Let's see. Have work in the morning, night, everyone. Be sure to tip your waitress. Instead of tipping your
No, I
waitress.
can't do that anymore. I keep getting kicked out of places when I tip my waitress.
Yeah, they don't like falling on the floor, right?
Sure, that's what I meant by tip.
Well, they don't like you pushing them on the floor. Yeah, the lab cultivated steak. I assumed it was vegetarian because they always have the worst ideas, says Flip. Remember to tip your racist, says Timothy. How about we just tip you, Timothy?
Dip the tip. Just the tip.
Timothy's no. Don't think Timothy wants to be tipped. If it's more money, then yes. What?
Rick, there's a lot of smoke in those panels.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the building's on fire. So it's supposed to be creating a lot of smoke And it's supposed to be, I would say, dense enough so, especially at first, that neither of them could see each other except for maybe the outline of the shape. No, just the outline of the shape features. So, I'm not sure whether I've got too much smoke or not. Makes sense though, Metal. What makes sense? Timothy?
I'm guessing the smoke in the panels. I think it's less the smoke in the panels that's getting me, it's all the smoke out of the panels.
Yeah, I can always take it out.
Maybe the Canadian Shield should switch to vaping.
But I was thinking it added something to the panel to not make it quite so bland.
No, it might. It might look better when it's all done too. I'm just the way I'm looking at it now.
Like, no, probably that one's not the best one to use. I could probably use that one too. No, I did want open, not save. The smoke makes the Canadian Shield. Make the Canadian Shield. Like here's page 3. I might have went overboard on the flyer though. This here is of course page 2.
Now, when you're working on that bottom panel on page 2 before, did you originally have the smoke spilling out? Because I think I vaguely remember that.
On page 2.
Oh, it was the mid panel. That was it, yeah. Because I like it better on that page specifically without the smoke spilling over. The way you had it like a few seconds ago.
Oh, you mean without all the smoke in the room? Yeah, I had it that way. It looked. I like both actually, personally. So the great thing is, of course, I have.
It's on its own layer, so you can just turn it on and off.
Yeah. That. Yeah, I just gotta label a lot of stuff, and I'm not sure whether there's words or whatever in here either. So that, or what words are in what panel. Should actually probably put some smoke behind them in this panel. Panel 4. So you like page 3, Timothy? Now let's see. I agree, Flip. Says metal. Oh, da, 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 da. I'm looking for decoration. Okay, yeah. Do, 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 do. Okay, we were back here. Yellowish.
Alright. Do you get like a brush that you use for the flames?
Yeah, I have a few different brushes for flames. I have one for this one, and I just started using, well, another one here. Oh. So,
Yeah, I'm a little sidetracked. I have to say, I do like using this NPC sheet a lot more. But you guys know on your sheet, if you don't want to have to like go through different tabs, you can just hit the show all and you can scroll up and down between everything.
yeah,
Just the more spells and stuff you get, the more you have to scroll, and the more like cluttered it becomes.
yeah, I noticed that the other day.
He says, Marsupial says, I think we should do a crowdfunded 8-bit style RPG. He just found another one on Kickstarter from 2017 that got like 126K and still hasn't been released. An 8-bit RPG would be very easy to make. And we can make sure that it's not busted like the original Final Fantasy. Or we can make sure it's busted like the second Final Fantasy. The choice is yours. It's not like we have to worry about the main campaign of the game. as you can tell from the game we've been playing, I'm pretty good at world building. I can just kind of like literal world with stuff.
Let's see how I was.
Yeah, I don't get how people can't finish a game like that for 126K either. I mean, we could probably make a game like that on literally no budget, but just us doing it in our free time. And Bullet just bought Pixel Game Maker recently. We were actually looking into that one too. But even on sale, I think it was like, what, $30, and that was still kind of expensive or something like that. Because it's like a normally 80 something.
Geez, it's like you guys don't understand how grifting works.
Well, how about we just make the game first, then kind of grift for 3 years, and then release the game that's been done for over 3 years, but they don't know any different. That way, when we need to take some snapshots to like give update photos, like we're still working on it, it's actually just snapshots from an already completed game. Just spend the next 3 years doing just other things, occasionally updating the people that backed it.
This way to do that.
Well, the thing is, I want it completed, so I have those 3 years to also get so good at the game that I complete the speedrun record and nobody else can ever beat it. That's the real reason we'll be grifting for 3 years straight. Just so my speedrun becomes so good that no matter how well anybody else tries to, they'll never beat it.
Yeah, and you release your speed thing the first day.
Yeah, day one. Here's my speedrun, try to beat it. Doesn't help that I'm on the team and know like how to event break and stuff. Could you imagine like a really selfish dev intentionally putting like flaws in their game that they're going to use later just so they can be the fastest speedrunner? Speedrunning culture was a mistake.
Marsupial, you need a book collection side quest where you have to collect all the erotic table books to unlock, and then table party members, says Eagle.
If it was going to be a detective, what would be the best way to do it? Would it be more like Earthbound? Or, well, Off is more like a later Final Fantasy, but if you were going to put it down to 8-bit, you could probably make it like the earlier Final Fantasies.
Yeah.
Assuming it's turn-based and not action. If it was action, I guess we'd make it more like Star Tropics.
Hey, shoot! Hey, shoot! Timothy says, so Meadow, I'll complete my script and I need it proofread. Can I send it to you?
I don't know if I have time to proofread a script. I mean, I guess you could send it to me if I have time. I can look at it. I'm working on a lot of stuff as it is.
Bless you 2 times, he says.
See, if we were making a game with, like, in Unity, we can make it look like Paper Mario. No, that would take a lot of work. 16-bit one would just be way easier. And I do really like the aesthetic of Final Fantasy VI. Unity is junk, but you know what? It's free.
Super bloated and pooped.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
Oh.
Is Unreal also free now?
Bullet says, I have RPG Maker 2000, 2003, M5. So I guess that's 15, or I'm not sure what M stands for anymore. 15 acres and XP laugh out loud.
Oh, sorry, I had to run off for a second.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah, the very last of the water in my cup went down the wrong pipe when I drank it.
Ooh, not
And because there was no water left in my cup, I had left to go down the right pipe to stop the coughing and had to run into the kitchen. Don't listen to him, Bullet. It's a bluff. He was going to put it in the game anyway.
Bullets never and then Marsupials laugh out loud. I guess at you narking him out.
But if we ever did do a game, we'd have to make sure it's been done on an engine that works with the Switch. Because whatever you pick, it's going to work with the PC. If it's going to be on any system, it's got to be on the Switch.
Marsupial says, Crash Grab, the video game. Marsupial, you're not going to put furries into the game, right? He could. I've seen some really cool stuff with PGM, and it has Switch support. Says Bullet.
I mean, is it really an RPG if there's not at least one furry in there?
I don't know.
I mean, you can always kill the furries. They could be an enemy in the game. They don't have to be a positive thing. And then you get the, catharsis of killing furries. Yeah, that's true. It needs a proper fishing minigame to be a real game.
Well, Metal, it is that time again. Would you like to promote anything?
Yeah, I guess I could promote something. Because you know what today is. Well, for you, it's now Wednesday. but it's gonna be Wednesday very shortly. That's why this is popping up. Oh, because it's the YouTube thing. Let me kill it. But on Wednesdays we run the Vomitorium. So at 6 Central Time, you should come by and hang out with us, which, you know, most of the people here do anyway, so I don't know why I'm promoting this. But still.
Yeah, the Vomitorium. What do you do? I was going to say, do you have the Vomitorium screen up?
I did a second ago. But I took it down. One big fishing minigame with a PH, because he's just going to get a bunch of people's info. And then sell it to a lot of, like, I don't know, ad agencies and stuff so they can spam them.
Marsupial says, my Kickstarter is basically just going to be one big fishing minigame. Okay, so yeah, anyways, I guess I will thank everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Metal, of course, for coming on, and thank everybody in the chat for coming by, talking, and all that. I hope you enjoyed tonight. And hopefully we will see you tomorrow for High Noon, and then, of course, for After Dark, where we'll color the character that we did today. So we'll catch you all later. Bye for now. God bless. Love you all. Have a great and wonderful night and all that stuff, or day, or whatever it is where you are.